Right, so welcome in the second part. We are in the fourth period now. And till first comprehension check, we had finished. Yes? Yeah. So let us continue with the second part. Uh, has somebody already started from this place, or I need to take up from this? I need to take up, right? Who was reading? Om, yeah. Om was. Om, yeah, correct. I'm obliged. Till here, Om, you have read. I'm obliged. Right? Direction. All right. Then a buzzard rose in front of him and flapped into the air. He came into the clearing under the oaks. It is reflecting. कोई जरूरत नहीं है बंद कर दो बंद कर Yeah. Buzzard sat in a circle around the carcass of the doe. Carcass. What do you mean by the carcass? The remains, the dead remains. Have you seen? The skeleton and the bones are lying. Say, if an animal is found dead 2 days back, and if you check the dead remains of the same animal, what you will get to see after a week? Maybe the carcass only. The flesh is gone. And who does eat all this? Herbivores, scavengers, vultures. Right. Okay. So they turn their heads. They turned their heads on their long, scrawny necks and hissed at him. He threw his bow at them and they flew into an adjacent tree. The sand showed large cat prints, but the big cats killed fresh and they had left the door to the carrion birds. He parted the grass at the place where he had seen. So, who is indicated from he? And where what is the current like setting क्या चल रही है He's trying to find Fawn. Right, and the place of action is in the forest area. Right, he parted the grass at the place where he had seen the fawn. It did not seem possible that it was only yesterday. The fawn was not there. He circled the clearing. There was no sound, no sign. The buzzards clacked their wings, impatient to return to their business. He returned to the spot where the fawn had emerged and dropped on all fours, studying the sand for the small hoof prints. Hoof. Hoof से हम क्या समझते हैं? What is the meaning of hoofs? What do you mean by hoofs? Is it related to horse? All are playing like KBC with me. उसका सर दर्द हो रहा है फिर भी वो डिक्शनरी उठा के देख रहा है. And the people who are quite well, are you here with the dictionaries? Then take it out.
The hard part of horse leg.
Yes, Aditya. Say it again. The hard part of the feet of the horse. Right. The hard part of the feet. ठीक है. So the night's ran had the night's rain had washed away all tracks except those of cats and buzzards. A large bird like the vulture that eats the flesh of dead animals. Comprehension check. So Jody didn't want Millwheel with him for two reasons. What were they? It again is a very good question. Can definitely be asked in some other form in the exam paper. Utkarsh, what do you think? What are the two things? Two reasons why this young boy was uncomfortable sharing something with Millwheel. शिवांश, आपको क्या लगता है शिवांश, वो दो रीजंस कौन से हो सकते हैं? सचिन? Yeah, I think Sumit Chandra can help us. थोड़ा जोर से बच्चे. He was afraid that Millwheel will. Okay, so who would find Jody? So if Jody would find the fawn, then what was so like uncomfortable part? सो उससे होगा क्या? आप आंसर तो 80% करेक्ट बता रहे हैं. अगर उसको फोन नहीं मिला या मिला तो भी क्या रीजन था? वो अगर मिल जाएगा तो अच्छी बात है, बट स्टिल ही डिड नॉट वांट हिम टू बी अराउंड बिकॉज he did not wanted to express how he would react before it would quite be a very emotional moment for him. Yes, and we do not feel quite comfortable to be our vulnerable selves before strangers. Am I making some sense? How many people are there in your lives
Yes, ma'am.
with whom you can be yourself? I mean, you can share, you can talk, and you can show that weaker side of your weakest of weakest. Very few, maybe only to your friends, maybe. Am I right? So it was one of the reasons is this. Clear? Next, another reason was Utkarsh.
Ma'am, may I ask you?
Huh, please.
Ma'am, like Jody was not sure about the phone's safety, ma'am.
He was not
That's
sure.
what we are. Ma'am, Jody was not sure about the phone's safety.
So how come Millwheel is related to this?
Ma'am, if the phone saw Milky and if he got scared, ma'am, he might run from that place.
Okay,
That's
okay.
correct.
But I'm still not very satisfied. Are you able to connect to what he's saying? He's talking about some safety reasons. Rituraj, what is your take on this? What could be the next reason? That's what that's what that's what Aditya is opining. What is your reason? What are the do you know the question? Read it. Jody didn't want Millwheel. What is it? That's the first reason. We are talking about the second one. Shikha, we have Shikha. शिखा क्या रीजन था? अभी जैसे आदित्य ने बताया है ना, आपका क्या सोचना है बेटा इस बारे में? क्या सेकंड रीजन है? करुणा? हाँ. Yeah. Hmm. Okay, so both the cases are possible. Kirti, is she right? Yeah, cause second reason, what Shikha has just said, it is a kind of rejection. I guess we are discussing the second only. Huh. Yeah, please stay focused. So more or less, it is the same. Before laughing, if you have something extra to add, Soumya, would you both can take your places. Thank you so much, Rituraj and Shikha. Sit down. Wow. So why was Millville afraid to leave Jody alone? I guess I have enough of discussion. You people now can figure out. Karuna, why would Millville, if you are Millville, why you are so worried for Jody? Jody is shy.
Ma'am, may I ask the same?
Jody is a child. Yeah. So it's not safe to send him all alone. A boy of that age. A boy of that age is not at all safe to go on his own, right, Rajneesh? Yeah, Aditya, you would like to add something?
Ma'am, as it was a forest, ma'am, so he did not let Jody to go alone, ma'am.
Safety reasons, the same which I mentioned, more or less. Anything else? I guess this is the sole
No,
reason.
ma'am.
Yeah. Now your point can be elaborated, it can be added. If it is a 3 marks question, so you can add this point. Say, how come the security was at stake? वो चिंतित क्यों था जोडी की सुरक्षा व्यवस्था के लिए क्योंकि these things could possibly be go wrong. Am I right? So you may add these things. इस तरीके से हम आंसर्स को सपोर्ट करते हैं, है ना? People keep saying, ma'am, I've written that he was worried, ma'am, for Jody. But how? Why was he so worried? What could go wrong? What are the probable reasons? What can happen in a forest area? We have one incident that a person got bitten by a rattlesnake, right? And then out of a repercussion or maybe a regret, chain of events are happening. Okay, thank you. Where I was, from which point I need to take a movement. Okay, so I would like to call somebody. Nirmesh, come here. तुम्हें बहुत गर्मी लग रही है, तुम्हारी गर्मी कोई गर्मी नहीं। Yes, Nirmesh. Now Nirmesh would read. अच्छे से पढ़ी।
मैम कहाँ से?
Movement directly in front.
Movement directly in front of the started him so that he turned backward. The fawn lifted its face to his. It turned its head with the wide, wandering motion and soaked him through with the stare and liquid eyes. It was quivering. It made no effort. Yes, ma'am.
Say
It
it again. Quivering.
quivering. It made no effort to rise or run. Jody could not trust himself to move. He whispered, "It's me." The fawn lifted its nose. Ma'am, वो क्या लिखा? Scenting him. Scenting him. He reached out one hand and laid it on the soft neck. The touch made him the ma'am delirious. He moved. मैम बहुत बेकार वर्ड्स है he moved
Excuse me, behave nicely on the mic. It is going on the official platform.
he moved he moved forward on all fours until he was close beside it. He put his arm around around its body light.
Thank you, Nirmesh. But I think you need to take care of your tongue. You should not say such words. What bekar word? It is a word actually. Like we have Shabdkosh in Hindi. I know how to move my waist. Do you want to know? Right. So I guess somebody from online mode would like to do the part. Sumit is here. Read it. The fawn lifted its nose, scenting him. He reached out one hand. Page number 90, last para. एक डायरी में हमें informal रहना है, समझ में आ रही है बात? ये चीजें हमें मत भूला करिए, मैं फ्री हूँ लेकिन एक लिमिट में।
arms around his body. A light convulsion passed over it, but it did not stir.
Stir. Stir. Continue. Sumit, continue.
Okay. He stroked its sides as gently as though the fawn were a china deer and he might break it. Its skin was very soft. It was sleek and clean and had a sweet scent of grass. He rose slowly and lifted the fawn from the ground. Its legs hung limply. They were surprisingly long, and he had to hoist the fawn as high as possible under his arm.
Surprisingly long, and he had to hoist the fawn as high as possible. It's hoist, right? Okay,
Yes.
so how long is this? Very long. चलो शुरू करो या कंटिन्यू कंटिन्यू
He was afraid that it might kick and dig at sight and smell of its liver. He skirted the clearing and pushed his knee into the thicket. It was difficult to fight through with his burden. His head hung in the trees, and he could not lift his own freedom. He tried to shake its face from prickling
करो
violently and
he
mocking
said
its sharp,
enchanted
thumb at the marble of its and then he reached the well.
okay Sumit your voice is cracking a bit my boy so thank you right there might be some network poor connection else you sounding good Karuna now will read he stopped to rest are you able to see the screen the screen is over yeah.
He said, chanted, I will carry you after I get my breath. He remembered his father saying that a fawn would follow if it had first been carried. He started away slowly. The fawn started after him. The fawn stared after him. He came back to it and stroked it and walked away again. It took a few wobbling it took a few wobbling steps toward him and cried piteously. It was willing to follow him. He belonged to him. It was his own. He was light-hearted with his joy, headed with his joy. He wanted to fondle it, to run and romp with it, to call to it to come to him. He dared not alarm it. He picked it up and carried it in front of him, over his two arms. It seemed to him that he walked without effort. His arms began to ache, and he
My he has head ache. I have stomach ache.
and that
Yeah, pain it is.
yes, ma'am.
So it is pronounced as ache.
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 Ache, and he was forced to stop again. When he walked on, the fawn followed him at once. He allowed it to walk a little distance, then picked it up again. The distance home was nothing. He could have walked all day and into the night. Carrying it again, carried, carrying it and watching it follow, he was wet with sweat, but light breeze blew through the June morning, cooling him. The sky was as clear as spring, water in a blue china cup. He came to clearing. It was fresh and It was fresh and green after the night's rain. He fumbled with the latch and was finally obliged to set down the phone to manage it. Manage it. Then he had an idea. He would walk He would walk into the house, into Penny's bedroom, with the fawn walking behind him. But at the steps, uh, the fawn barked. Ma'am, what's it? Bogged and refused to climb them. He picked it up and went to his father. Penny lay with closed eyes. Jody called, Pa, look. Penny turned his head. Jody stood behind him. The fawn clutched hard against him. It seemed to Penny that the boy's eyes were as bright as the fawn's. He, increase its size. Zoom it a bit. But at the steps, sorry. It seemed to Penny that the boy's eyes were as bright as the fawn's. He said, I'm glad you find him. You found him, sorry. Jody then went to the kitchen. The fawn warbled after him. A pan of morning's milk stood in the kitchen, safe. The cream had risen on it. He skimmed the cream into a jug. He poured milk. Stand properly because people who are sitting, it's not visible. Uh, He skimmed the cream into a jug. He poured milk into a small gourd. He held it out to the fawn. It butted it suddenly, smelling the milk. He saved it precariously. He saved it precariously from spilling over the floor. It could make nothing of the milk in the gourd. He dipped his finger in the milk and thrust them into the fawn's soft, wet mouth. It sucked greedily. When he withdrew them, it bleated frantically and butted him. He dipped his finger into the milk and thrust them into the fawn's soft, wet mouth. Sorry, I have read this. He dipped his finger again. Please slow a bit. You're reading very nicely. So you would like to enjoy this reading, right? He dipped his fingers again, and as the fawn sucked, he lowered them slowly into the milk. The fawn blew and sucked and snorted. It stamped its small hoofs impatiently as long as he held his fingers below the level of milk. The fawn was content. He closed its eyes dreamily. It was ecstasy to feel its tongue against his hand. Its small tail flicked back and forth. The last of the milk vanished in a swirl and foam and gurgling. In a swirl of foam and gurgling, read the writer's name, Marjorie Kinnan Rawlings. Kinnan Rawlings. Okay. Thank you. You are not in the habit of Google. So that's how the story has come to an end. Do you people have any doubts? People who are online? I don't think so.
No, ma'am.
Are you are you even here in active in class? Angel, Sakshi, Garvika, Abhinav, Disha, Khushi. Okay, so yeah. What is there? How many comprehension checks are left for this? I guess we are here. How did Jody bring the fawn back home? Sachin, do you have an answer for this? What do you think, Sachin? What can be the answer? I think this answer will form the journey part of Jody and Millwheel. Were they together when they were out in the forest? Were they together? This pond, mask नीचे करिए. What is my question? A day ago, you were asking, ma'am, if you could provide me the answers. I wonder how you people take the examinations of those areas when you are not able to answer my single question. हाँ, भाषा की दक्षता तो होनी चाहिए ना. समझ में आ रहा है मैम क्या सवाल पूछ रही हैं? तो आंसर करिए मैम. आई थिंक आई नीड टू लुक इट अप इन द बुक. मे बी एनीथिंग है कि नहीं, या बस यस नो माय नेम इज सचिन. बैठो. ऐसे होगा क्या? रिटर्न निकाल के फिर आगे क्या होगा? वर्क इट आउट. सुमित, उसको तो मैंने इतना हनुमान चालीसा सुनाया. व्हाट डू यू थिंक? व्हाट डू यू थिंक? Yeah, Poonam, we will come to you a bit later. Hang on. Sumit? Yeah, nice. How? How did Jody bring the phone back home? He just lifted it and just brought home. Is this one line be apt for this question's answer? It is incomplete. It can be a part, but it remains incomplete. Hannah, Riddhi? Riddhi will tell us. It is revision going on. And the vision which I am having, it should be a revision. Huh? Are you here with your books, English books? बैठिए. सौम्या, बहुत पढ़ रहे हो आप. आपको तो बताना ही चाहिए.